But okay, what were the grounds? Just explaining to people so that you can know exactly what happened. What were the grounds for an attempted impeachment for your deputy?
An attempted impeachment for my deputy. At the end of the day, I'm the president, and I want to tell them that they have to recognize that fact. You cannot run away from it. Sululu is not a president unless he has registered in another university not to. I can assure you, I am seated. God is my witness. We won. After all, those who complain are opposition. I've not had comrades complain that we are sitting in these positions wrongfully. But those are opposition. I wouldn't want to listen to them so much. When you look at the Constitution of Kenya, we have that provision for the opposition and the rest. But in Tum, we don't have that provision. I also want to take this opportunity to warn these guys that call themselves opposition, that in Tum there's no provision within the Constitution. So if you call yourself an opposition, then you are not catered for it. There's no guarantee for opposition in Tum. You're something, I don't want, let me stop it there.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time you think this. My name is Cedrick, Wandera, and of course you're watching 254 Reporters. So ladies and gentlemen, it is a beautiful evening here at Mombasa, Kenya, and of course you're with the President of Technical University of Mombasa Student Association. Yani mwenyewe anaitwa, let me just let him introduce himself. Are you ready, Mr. President?
Thank you. Well, I'm called Jeff Catlyst. Otiato is my name. And of course, you call me Babalao Ntaitika.
Yeah, Babalao, that was the tagline time in your campaign. It is long, you know, the last time we did an interview, you were still at the sports secretary at Tumsa. So how's life been? How is the change of life from being a sports secretary to the president of a university?
It's not a challenge though, but I must say that it's a change of responsibility. Because when I was in the Office of Sports Entertainment, I used to do a number of activities. I had specific responsibility, and now that I'm the president, and I'm fully in charge of the old school, the whole university that is here.
Yeah, you're fully in charge of the whole university. So let's just get into it. Let's get direct into it. Actually, there's been a lot of things going on in Tum, and I'm sure you are so ready to answer all the questions that you've gathered from the comrades.
Sure.
You ready? Okay, so without further ado, let's first tackle the elephant in the room. We have this new academic policy. What is happening? Okay, for somebody who does not understand the academic policy, just explain to him briefly or her briefly what the new academic policy states.
The new academic, that is to do with our student handbook article 610. I would advise our students to actually familiarize ourselves with this book, because in most cases, most in the life in the campus, this is one of the documents that we have to have. And mostly, I want to advise comrades that take your time, go through this book. To be specific on the issue that is at hand now, that is academic policy. Of course, there are a lot of clauses there, but I want to be specific on two clauses, and that is one, to do with the retake, and two, to do with the fail. In case you have a fail, then you cannot proceed to the subsequent year of study. So it states that if you fail a supplementary, then you cannot proceed. Then you will have to retake that very unit. Earlier on, the student handbook or the policy used to provide 3 attempts in 1 unit. If you fail the ordinary exam, you fail the supplementary, you fail another supplementary, then you fail another supplementary, then you will retake. Unlike now, where you are only allowed to sit for the ordinary exam, given another one chance, you fail for that supplementary, then you are required to retake. Two, we are also told that you cannot proceed to the next year in case you have not cleared all the units, including the attachment. So that is what, as a union, of course, as the student body, we are not supporting at all. Totally, we are dissatisfied with that action.
Yes, and anything that the administration does for the students, we also tend to believe that, or we understand it does it in the good interest of the students, at least as we understand how the administration works. But according to your memo here, which we'll discuss later vastly about it, you have stated that failure to amend the academic policy, which is section 6,
610.
Yeah, 610 on the student progression, which has barred over 4,000 students from progressing to the next academic year. So this means that more than 4,000 students have been affected by this academic
Sure,
policy.
yeah.
You as their student leader, what have you taken? What initiatives have you taken?
We assume our responsibility on 16th February this very year. And one of the things we knew, one of the challenges we expected on the way was to do with this thing, the academic policy. And so we, back then we started negotiating, with, having dialogue with the administration, that is the DVC, VC, the registrar, and I can tell you up to now we are still negotiating, but they are very adamant to get to listen to us, and so we are seeing no reason to continue bargaining with these guys. But indeed, time is running out, and so that's why we decided to call off, or rather to urge our comrades to boycott the online classes. I believe by doing that they will have to sit down with us and find a solution.
Which it's a topic that we'll still discuss in this interview, but later on. So right now, like this is more of a personal question for you and your secretaries. We have seen so many blogs people write. You know, we have freedom of expression, and in one of these writings, we have established that some of your secretaries or even you have been affected by this academic policy. So how true is this?
Some of the secretary, we are yet to confirm that, but I don't.
So you are confirming that?
I can't access the portal of one student. But working on the number that we have been told is that a good number of students have been affected by the policy. And as a student leader, I believe I have a responsibility to work. I'm not acting because I feel some of us within the union are affected. We are talking about 4,000 students, and that's out of assume the population now we are 17,002 students. And that's a good percentage that we cannot just say that this is something to do with defending particular individuals. Yeah, we must just stand.
Okay.
First. Yeah, sure.
So I'm sure most of you who have been asking if the president has been affected by that policy.
Wow, it is very interesting. At the end of the day, that in case, even if the president has been affected, or any part of my cabinet, that is, we are students.
And it happens.
Yeah, it happens.
So far, so good. Let's move to the next issue. So we have this issue of online learning. And many comrades who are at home have been affected by so many issues, so many challenges. Maybe if you just state on their behalf, maybe for the administration, what are the challenges that these comrades are facing?
The challenges are there. I may not be able to mention all of them, but I can tell you I happen to be one of the senators, or one of the people who are allowed to sit in the university senate. And it is on the record that I supported this online learning. In fact, I proposed it. Then the rest supported that idea. We don't oppose the online classes, but of course there are some of the things that have to be put into place first before we say that we're going for online classes. We are seeing this happening in a number of universities. It is becoming a success. So we will not say that it is only specifically affecting the comrades at the Technical University of Mombasa comrades when it comes to online learning. But of course, the university has to provide the data bundles, so that I believe by doing that, the comrades at least they will be some ease. Yeah. But we cannot say that we are totally opposing this move of online classes, online learning, that is, because we are now in a world that we can't wait. I remember we left school last year in March, expecting to be back any soon, but it took us time, almost 1 year outside. So we cannot say that we are going to be out waiting for a physical interaction in classes. We can adopt this, but there are some of our conditions that have to be met first.
Okay, there have been also a concern that people who are pushing the agenda that your government has failed as much as the online learning is concerned, most of them are from your opponents. What do you have to say about that?
That is a fact. It is very unfortunate that at this particular moment we are still doing politics. We just got into office the other day. If we have to leave offices, and not this soon, maybe we can leave next year. So I just want to urge these guys that are already embarked on politics that this calls for unity. It's called for unity. We cannot fight alone. At the end of the day, I'm a student leader for all students. those who opposed me, those who supported me during our campaigns, at the end of the day, I'm the president. And I want to tell them that they have to recognize that fact. You cannot run away from it. Sululu is not a president unless he has registered in another university or two. So I just want to call upon this guy that such scenarios need us to come together and handle this thing together. We're shocked today when we just released a memo putting it across that this we have to be provided by the data. This policy has to be reviewed. Then I saw some already playing politics in this that but it's being irrelevant. Yeah.
Okay, I think what you're trying to say, and now that you've even mentioned names, you are, let me call him your main opposition leader, your opponent, Mr. Harris Sululu, who will also give him a chance to talk about this. But on all of his posts, he said, we are writing a letter to the Vice Chancellor for immediate provision of bundles for the comrades and disciplinary actions to be taken against the current government for calling a boycott without any parliamentary session or engaging comrades. So maybe first, will you react to that, or first react to that before I ask you the second question on this post?
I may not directly react to that post because it is totally irrelevant. How do you consider parliamentary sittings when it comes to making such a decision? It is an urgent decision. Will you wait for the parliament to be there so that you make a decision? Do you leave students to be affected, to get affected? So that is so irrelevant. I will not directly respond to it.
Okay, now let's say maybe he had a point, or maybe he wanted to make some point on this. Is there any process to be followed before you make an official statement of boycotting classes, or maybe striking or doing something? Is there a process?
Not really. The best of it is that when it comes to providing solutions to such challenges, that between us, the administration, that we have to embrace dialogue. And of course we did that. I've explained to you. We did that dialogue for quite some time. And the only thing that we were left with was to call upon the students to come on board, that we have a solution. There's no defined procedure. At the end of the day, yesterday we had a meeting for the World Council, right from the satellite, the leadership from the satellite, and we made a decision that we're going to produce a memo to ensure that we boycott classes. So it is not a decision made by Otiato or by the Secretary General.
Okay, now let's move to some other issue now, or even just meaning of that boycotting classes. Of course, you have listed here some of the grievances that you say, or the grounds to boycott the classes, and one of them has got my attention. Is unreasonable fee payment for services not rendered at the moment. Fee payment on medical levy, or it's an example. Fee payment on medical levy and on activity fee despite classes being offered online. Could you just explain that, name?
Oh, sure. If you go through the fee structure, of course, there are levies that total to that will give us the total fee that we're supposed to pay. And I look at this, like when you mention activity, students are not around to go for sports and the rest. There's no activity which will participate in directly. When it comes to medical fee, or the medical levy, when I feel sick, I'll go at home. I'll go at the nearest hospital for my own. So those that should not be included when it comes to this online learning. We are away from school. We cannot actually get those services directly from school. So we met with the administration. We did letters. We had meetings, but they were not able to listen to us.
Okay, of course, I know most of you want to know much about the relationship between the president and the deputy president, but that and more will come on the other end of this break. My name is Cedrick, Wandera, and this is 254 Reporters. See you there. Okay, so welcome back to this amazing interview, and of course so many people asked me questions to ask Mr. President Otiato. Nimesema tukuite baba lao. Okay, so of course another issue that most people want to hear. What is happening with your Congress, Mr. Otiato? Because let's start just an example about Lamu representation. It's also alleged, and it's good that you now have to clean the airs. It's alleged that somebody by the name, okay, let me not mention names here, but the representative from Lamu, whom I have the name here with the registration, is a person from Tum, How is that possible?
Of course, Lamu is part of Tumsa, it's just a satellite campus. But it should also come out clearly that Parliament, or rather the Congress, is independent from the Council. They are two different and they operate independently. Congress was constituted by the UEC.
That is the University Electoral Commission.
Yeah, the University Electoral Commission through election. So I don't think whether should be so answerable about that.
But just explain the difference between the two and their functions. There are people who don't know about this.
So council is, initially it was called the executive, but under our constitution now it is called the council. That comprises of the 8. That is the president, deputy, SG, academic secretary, accommodation secretary, sports entertainment secretary, gender and special needs secretaries. And of course parliament, we have the speaker, and other members, we have the school reps, and we have other nominees, the Austrian representatives as well, and of course representatives from various satellite campuses.
Okay, having explained the difference between the Congress and the Council, but again, if you asked me if somebody is to represent me, he needs to come from where I am, because a place like here and Lamu, it's so far, so you cannot have a representative for Lamu here at Tum. That was one of the main concerns why people asked about this representative for Lamu.
Wow, that is true. Of course, that was a position that was meant for the Lamu, and if at all that was supposed to take place. But of course, we have to consider some factors that we have Lamu, we have the Congress, the headquarters of Tumsa is at the main campus. The sittings, the proceedings takes place within the main campus. And we look at the distance between main campus and Lamu.
It is far, you have to take a flight to Lamu.
A flight that is Sunday. These guys do have a number of sittings. I'm just trying to believe that could be one of the reasons why the UEC, on their best thought, decided to have Abdallah Hashim take charge as one of the representatives for that.
Abdallah Hashim Mohammed.
Yeah, and of course the other lady is coming from Lamu. Though constitutionally she might be knocked out, because you are required not to miss more than 3 sittings. If she will miss more than 3 sittings, constitutionally she will be kicked out of the Congress.
Okay,
but
so
at least being a representative, so long as the guy is ready to present the grievances from Lamu campus, I don't see the problem. And furthermore, I believe the governor and the other guys from Lamu campuses were consulted. Yeah.
So they were consulted before accepting that decision. Yeah. Okay, so again, for those who don't understand, when we talk about the Congress, we mean the Parliament. So every job that a Parliament does, it's what the Congress does. Okay, so one of the duties of the Congress is also impeaching people. And we had a motion in the Congress for impeaching one of, or let me just go direct, your deputy. So what is the relationship between you and your deputy?
We are good friends. We are good friends with Fatuma Hassan Haro. That's my deputy. We have had a good relationship since then. We served in the same government, our 8th government last academic year. She was the finance secretary and I was the sports entertainment secretary. So there's no beef between the two of us as far as I'm concerned, unless from our side she says so.
But okay, what were the grounds? Just explaining to people so that you can know exactly what happened. What were the grounds for an attempted impeachment for your deputy?
An attempted impeachment for my deputy. I believe that was something that took place in the Congress, and I'm here to find out what were the main reason why this lady was to go. Oh, these guys thought it better to impeach the lady. But as, the information I'm having is that to an extent, maybe not, the allegations were not suitable for impeachment. Yeah.
But okay, let's call a spade, Mr. President. This Madam Fatma, she was the Secretary for Finance while you are the Secretary for Sports. The relationship between you guys in the past government was so nice that you guys were seen together, and that escalated to the campaign where you are the president and she was running for your deputy. And of course, you cannot run from the fact that you had some issues between the two of you, or at least that is why that is how it is perceived out there. So why should it be perceived yet there is totally nothing? That is one. Number two, the question that I wanted also to ask, you are saying that you are here to find out what the Congress wanted or why the Congress attempted to impeach your deputy, but she is your personal friend, so those two statements contradict each other.
What was your first question?
So actually my question is, what is happening between the two of you?
Between the two of us?
Yeah.
I don't know unless I'm told. But as far as I'm concerned, we are good friends. We meet, we discuss, we share ideas. And our government is running well.
Okay, so...
Unless you have something to tell me so that I can react to.
Then I have an idea.
Yeah.
Should you expect a handshake between the two of you?
Handshake over what? Because we have been friends. Do we need to have a handshake when we are not enemies?
What people really expected is you to come out boldly and address that issue and say there is nothing that is going on between me and my deputy, or we are good friends, and you come together and you speak to the complex. But that did not happen.
No, I've been in the politics for quite some time, maybe more than you, if you have to compare. But I believe there are these guys called bloggers. I hardly respond to bloggers. When I see a blog, when I respond directly to such here and there, then I become also a blogger. I believe I'm at a position that there are things I need to assume. As long as at the end of the day, within our house, we are in order, why should I react to some bloggers, specific bloggers? We also need to appreciate that at the end of the day, we have opposition. Though constitution, when you look at the constitution of Kenya, we have provision for the opposition and the rest. But in TUM, we don't have that provision. I also want to take this opportunity to warn these guys that call themselves opposition, that in TUM there's no provision within the constitution. So if you call yourself an opposition, then you are not catered for it. There's no guarantee for opposition in TUM. You have something, I don't want, let me stop it there.
Okay, so there's no position.
I just want to believe it was something that was used by some of these guys who do not want my government to thrive, to ensure that we are divided. But I can assure you today we are stable, we are one, and we are up to the task.
Okay, now that you're cleaning the airways, and this is a good platform for you to clean the airways, we have had speculations that this government of yours, you did not rightfully achieve it. You are given by the administration. So maybe just clean the airways, tell people what really happened.
What happened was an election.
Of course, I understand what happened was an election, but now what word do you have for those people who are saying that you are given this government by the administration?
Well, you read the Constitution, that is the Tumsa Constitution, Article 39. It provides, and I've put down there, that is to do with Clause H. It provides how to do election, whereby if the physical cannot happen, then the option that is given there is online voting. I will tell you, up to now we could have not had election if we had to wait for a physical election. But of course, both parties agreed at the two alliances, that is the TCA and the Impact Alliance. We agreed that we are not going to waste time. Let us take this thing. This is a challenge that is before us. Let us go for this election. But of course, at the end of the day, it's, we embarked on campaigns. We did our best to mobilize comrades. We were voted in. I can assure you, I am seated. God is my witness. We won. After all, those who complain are opposition. I've not heard comrades complain that we are sitting in these positions wrongfully. Comrades actually recognize us as the legitimate Tumsa. Yeah. So but those are opposition. I wouldn't want to listen to them so much. One of the main animals that my team is working towards killing is the academic injustices, and that's one thing that we must just kill when we look at other sides. Of course, there are projects we are having in mind. Of course, they are building up. We'll show off at the right time.
Okay, so maybe just parting shot for the comrades from you. Just the last word that you can tell the comrades.
Sure. Above all, I want to take this opportunity, Mr. Wandera, for this invitation. Of course, a number of comrades wanted clear information from the union. Here I am to speak on behalf of the union. I believe they are well informed. Let us join together. Let us work together. Let us embrace unity at such a moment, so that this academic injustice that is trying to thrive in the technical of Mombasa is killed once and for all. You might not have been affected directly today, but I'm very sure tomorrow, if you live without being affected, then your brother will be. So let us join together, those who have been affected or not, let us join together as the comrades. We used to talk about reigniting the spirit of comradeship, and this is the time. So I want to call upon all comrades that we are calling upon all of them, so that this one should be in the past, should be considered a past history. These guys calling themselves opposition, there's no provision for opposition in Tumsa. That one you must know, and I want to take it. I want them to take this matter seriously. Ukimwona Simba amenyeshea usidani paka. Of course they have been trying to, wengine wamekuwa wakitukana hapa na pale, but tumekuwa tukinyamaza. We have tried to concentrate on our work. I believe they have a strategy of trying to divide and rule, trying to take us off the track, but we are up to the task. We will ensure that we deliver. Let the comrades trust us. When we call upon them for actions, let them come out. We are very sure, and keep praying for us, so that even as we are treading on this risky path, we'll achieve the best.
Okay, maybe have you done any action, or have you taken any initiative to reach those people who call themselves opposition? Now that you have clarified there is nothing like opposition in the constitution of Tumsa, maybe have you tried to reach out to them for an agreement?
Well, reaching out to them, maybe that is in process, but I don't see the need of agreement. We just need to come together. Of course, we'll try to reach out to them so that they tell us where specifically do they find it difficult, to ensure that we move along the same road. Yeah, in case they have any idea that will help us develop or run towards the right trajectory, we welcome such ideas. Yeah. For instance, during this moment, we really need them to come on board, so that they tell us, let us tackle this issue by this means. Not opposing everything. You oppose everything, you oppose everything.